The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Greetings and welcome to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor and Stress to Logic, your host. And on today's episode, I have Tosi Ufodike. Please tell me I pronounced that correctly.
You did.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Tosi. I actually had to listen to another interview that you gave because it is not a name that actually rolls off of my own tongue. So before we get into it, you're running for office, and we're going to get into that. But I'm very curious about the background of your name. How did your parents come up with your first name?
First, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. So my name is Nigerian. My father's Nigerian. My mother's American. So my full name is actually Tosi, and it means don't slander my name. Names in Nigerian culture have a lot of meaning. A lot of them are based on God or just positive things. So yeah, my father gave me my name. Yep. And so I go by Tosi.
I think it's absolutely ironic that you're running for office and your name means don't slander my name. Just because that's how politics is. So
that's how politics is.
Exactly. Yeah. So can you tell us about what are you running for? What's your district going to be like? And why are you running?
I'm running in the 51st district. And I'm really excited because, I live in Hawthorne Woods, and my district is really, really amazing. So many great people. I mean, it runs from, we have Hawthorne Woods, we have Long Grove, Lake Zurich, we also have Palatine, Inverness, Hoffman Estates, Rolling Meadows, Barrington, Killdeer, Deer Park, and a part of Vernon Hills. And, I'm running because I've always been involved. I've always been engaged. I have a heart for service. And I don't think our district is being represented in the best light. I'm currently an elected official. I'm the Ela Township trustee. And, I just love my district and I see what's happening. And so I want to get involved.
Tosi, you live in the same area as I do. What high school, and you said your daughter graduated from high school. What high school did she graduate from?
She graduated from the Great Lake Zurich High School. And we're so proud. We're proud of all the graduates. And congratulations to every graduate that graduated across this great district and across the country.
I heard Lake Zurich High School is the second best high school in the area, behind Stevenson, which is where my son graduated from. And I'm teasing you. I'm giving you a hard time. Where's your daughter headed off to for college, and what does she want to major in?
Yeah, no, that's great. And shout out to Stevenson, actually. Stevenson, they had a political meet and greet, and it was so great. I got to interact with the Stevenson High School seniors and students and talk about voting. So it was really, really a great program that they do at Stevenson. So my daughter's headed to Clemson University down south, my alma mater. We're so proud of her. And yes, she's interested in the field of education.
Oh, cool.
Which, by the way, my mom was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. I've taught.
Right.
And then our school, obviously, we hire and support teachers. And I really, really support teachers and the hard work that they do.
My wife will love that. She is a fourth grade teacher in Cicero. So she has a little bit of a commute. But again, this was an awesome conversation. Thank you very much for playing with me, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and where's your son headed? You said he graduated.
Oh, he's headed to Alabama, and he's going to major in engineering. Stevenson has several high school level engineering classes, which he's been to and loves. And my father was an engineer. So it skipped a generation. I used to have a little work apron for the garage. It says, I'm mechanically inclined. I screw up everything. And I'm not kidding. I really did have one. And so my father, he was a design engineer, and he designed things like the first photocopy machine. Pretty cool. My sister,
cool.
It's the rabbit hole runs deep. My sister has she's got the prototype first laminating machine, which she had the patent for. but he always worked for someone else. So that's why I have to work.
Wow.
But his name's
So your
on
son
patents.
couldn't get into Clemson?
I don't think he
Joking.
applied.
I'm joking.
Okay, I got it. That was good. I appreciate the humor. I want my listeners to know that this is my dream, teaching people about safety. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for my listeners, I couldn't live my dream. So, on behalf of my family and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to live my dream. And I also want to continue to live my dream, and I'm excited to continue to spread the word of safety. Recently, I began a new service as a conference keynote speaker. So, if anyone would like for me to speak at future events, or if anyone knows of an introduction or would like to discuss how we can work with one another, I'd love to do just that. The keynote speaking website is www.stress2logic.com. That is STRES2logic.com. If you're aware of any conference speaking engagements where you'd like to have me speak, I'd love an introduction. You can always share my electronic business card, which is Marcus Melnick, MarcusMelnick. Well, I thank you for your service, your current service, and your future service. I am also very service-minded, so I always appreciate when I meet someone and talk to them and hear about their commitment to serving the community. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about you, your personal background, your family, that type of thing? Floor is yours.
Yes. I'm a wife. I'm married. I have two amazing daughters. One just graduated from Lake Zurich High School and is off to college in the fall. So I'm a senior mom. My background, I graduated school, got my master's at Clemson University, traveled the world with GE as a financial auditor, and that was a great experience because it just taught me a lot about finance and auditing and spending and just watching budgets and how they're created. And we moved a lot around the U.S. and I've been fortunate. Although I grew up partly in the South, I've lived in different places in the United States, and my husband's job with Walgreens brought me to Illinois. And it was really, really a great experience. We've been working and living and just enjoying life. And I'm excited to really run and represent our district.
I am kind of laughing to myself because I also work for full-time for a Fortune 500 managing audits. So when you said that, I was like, oh, wow, we have a connection. Did you do anything with SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley?
Oh, yes.
That's
SOX. Oh, yes.
Yeah, SOX.
I did. Yes,
okay.
I did. Yeah, we audited. GE was like, back in the day when I graduated and took my first job, GE was just an amazing company, a lot of training. SOX was on the forefront. We did audits. Wrote reports, was in the field, and I learned a lot those days. So yes, I did.
Very good. And that's pretty much what I do full time, although on the IT side. So very, very interesting, nice little connection. Was GE your first professional, I don't mean like babysitting and stuff, first job, but like your first professional job after college?
Yes, it was. There was a program called the FNP, which was Financial Management Program, top of the tops. It was training ground for future CFOs, and it was just a very tough program to get into. Graduates from Harvard, all the top Ivy League schools would apply. And Clemson was a very, very good school. I got my MBA, and I went to an interview, and I got the job, and I joined the FNP program. And, that was my first job, but it was intense. And I started in the manufacturing floor. That's why I'm very, very comfortable talking about manufacturing because I was actually on the floor working in gas turbines in Greenville, South Carolina. And I have a respect for the hard men and women that work in the manufacturing business. And, we got to protect our manufacturing jobs. I'm a firm believer of buy made in America, support American companies, support American workers. And it all started with my first job at GE on the manufacturing floor.
Today, you're a small business owner. Can you tell us about your business?
My husband and I own a child care facility, Kitty Academy of Hawthorne Woods, right in Hawthorne Woods. It's an amazing business. We hire teachers. We support families with our child care business. We opened right during 2020, which was the height of COVID. Everything worked out, and we've been plugging away ever since. And it's a great business. So yes, we're happy to serve our community in that capacity as small business owners.
One of the things that I absolutely love, and I'm going to point it out to the listeners, is that you're not in this ivory tower of never having a manual job. You just said working in turbines on the manufacturing floor. That's not easy work, and it actually makes you appreciate, once you move up into management, what everyone does. And what I can predict is you're going to do the exact same thing as an elected official. You're a citizen, and you're going to bring that experience into the elected office. So I'm very pleased to hear you say that. This is not going to... Oh, go ahead.
I was born in North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I'm excited to serve in any way our great country. And it's an honor and a privilege to represent everyone in our district, District 51.
What have you learned about the district that you didn't know before the race?
With this race, we've been canvassing and knocking doors, and I love knocking doors. I'll tell you a quick story. So when I moved here, I decided I was going to run for trustee, Hawthorne Woods trustee, and I didn't have a clue. I'm not a career politician. I'm just a mom that wanted to get involved. In Louisiana, I was planning on running, and then we relocated to Illinois. And I was like, when I moved here, I remember going to the district office and telling the education person that I'm going to run. And she was like, oh, you should get on the school board. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to run for yet, but I'm going to run. I had no clue about canvassing or anything. I just knew I needed to talk to voters. And nobody knew me. I got in my car, I got my girls, we created flyers, we did yard time, we did everything on our own. And it was an amazing experience. And one of the things that it taught me was you might not have the most money or you might not be a known name, but if you get out and talk to voters, you learn so much. So fast forward, so I did that, the first time I ran, I knocked on doors in the snow and the rain. I just talked to people. So fast forward when I was asked to run for state rep, and first I was like, oh no, my daughter's graduating from high school. And then prayed to God, talked to my family. They're like, go for it. So one of the things that I've been doing is knocking doors. And I have an amazing team of volunteers, local precinct committee men and women, just moms, interns, people that really volunteer and believe in the cause. I've knocked on over close to 3,000 doors on my own, and our team has knocked on close to 8,000 doors. And one of the things we've learned about our district is we have a lot of things that unite us. The world is very divided, and we all know politics can be very divisive, but we have some really good neighbors. Like when I talk to neighbors, I talk to Democrats, I talk to Republicans, I talk to independents. They all want the same thing. They all want what's best for their families. My platform, I want to make Illinois affordable through property tax relief and common sense spending reforms. I want to support high quality education, empowering our parents and our local teachers. And I want to prioritize public safety. I've always backed the blue and supported our first responders. And when I'm talking to our voters, these issues resonate with them. One of the big issues, every time I knock doors, we have conversations, and people are struggling with the taxes and the property tax. Everything's going up. Groceries, gas tax went up on July 1st. And people want to survive. They love the community. But unfortunately, some people I've talked to, because of what's going on currently in Springfield, and they're faced with having to maybe leave our district and move to other places. And it breaks my heart because we have such a beautiful district. I mean, Hawthorne Woods, where I live, as well as Palatine, Long Grove, different areas within Lake and Cook County are really beautiful. We have all four seasons. We have great schools. There's no reason why our district shouldn't be the best in the nation. Again, rising costs and different things affect our community. So what I've learned is we are great and we're a resilient community, and with the proper leadership and representation, we can do great things.
Well, I have to disagree with you. 4 seasons, I could do without winter. Okay, and I'm kidding. I'm joking. That was not a serious comment.
No, I know, and then that's fine. But coming from the South, right, when my husband said, oh, we're moving to Illinois, what you think of Chicago snow? And I was like, oh, no. But the snow and stuff, you get used to it. It's so pretty when it falls. But no, I'm not a big fan of the snow and the ice. But just saying, like, we have the fall, the spring, the summers, like most places don't have that.
Right,
so.
Right. How is your campaign going?
I'm so proud of our campaign because we're grassroots, we're local, we're not funded by special interest groups or big political insiders. We're grassroots, like local grassroots. A lot of people are surprised to know, I don't have a campaign manager. When I say grassroots, like local support from our local townships, whether it's Vernon Township, Ela Township, Palatine, we're really a group of volunteers that are just tired of the status quo. We're tired of the Springfield elites. We want people who really want what's best for the community. Our campaign is every day I'm so surprised at the things that we do, the funding that we've done on our own, talking to different people. My chairman on my campaign, Vince Foglia, just an amazing man, a philanthropist. And when I first started the campaign, he was such a great supporter. We've just seen that. When we talk to people, we share our story, people are really impressed. And I've had people tell me, I've never given to a political campaign, ever. And I'm going to give to your campaign. I've never volunteered before, but I'm going to volunteer and walk with you in the parade. Like, it's just amazing. And grassroots, local communities just going together and helping. That's what makes me so proud about our campaign.
I'm very impressed also. And I was going to ask you about your strengths, but they really shine through. The ability, this is the biggest strength that I see, and I'm a third-party outside viewer, is your ability to connect with people and communicate. And that's one of the top things that you need as a politician. So I am incredibly impressed with how articulate and educated you are. It's fantastic. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm going to ask you where the show was originally supposed to be about personal safety, and you did mention you backed the blue. Can you tell us where you stand on the Second Amendment?
I follow the U.S. Constitution, and a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I support the Second Amendment.
We're living in this polarizing and partisan time, and I see the divide, the philosophical divide, I guess I'll call it, growing and growing and growing, and there's this inability of people to have a civilized conversation, even though that they disagree, which is kind of silly to me because, hey, look, my wife and I don't agree on everything, but we have a civil conversation and we work it out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you do that. How else do you differ from the typical career politicians that we look at the ballot, we read it up and down, and you're new to the scene. So what else sets you apart?
I think what sets me apart is my true love for service, also my experience. A lot of people want to downplay experience, but I don't. I've been working, like I said, from manufacturing, traveling the world and auditing, owning a small business, being a mom, and just balancing my kids and being in the school system as a volunteer parent, being involved in just the local community. I am an ambassador for Hawthorne Woods, our local community. I chair the Parks and Rec community with Ela Township, as well as co-chair health and wellness. So I'm very involved in mental health, and I know it's very important. I also have been really, really involved with this new phenomenon as chair of the Parks Committee, pickleball, and it's been a lot of fun. I won't get into it, but it's been a learning curve, but oh my gosh, it's been very interesting. And just also how I resonate with our community. I've lived it. I've paid property taxes. I've had the experience of getting my own apartment, getting my job, getting married, figuring out what's best for my children, going to their school, understanding the role of a parent and why it's so important for parents to not be isolated from their children's education and to be notified when things do go wrong with their children. I've lived it, and I think it's important. I mean, you can't expect somebody who has no clue about what it's like to raise a family, to own a business, to pay a property tax bill, to make decisions that really consider all factors. And so what separates me, like I said, is my extensive experience as well as just my love for this community. I will, by the grace of God, when I'm elected, I'll be proud to represent our community in the Illinois House of Representatives. The work that I do and I will do for our community will be for all residents, informed by every member of the community. I've had the pleasure of talking to, like I said, I am a Republican, but I've talked to Democrats, I've talked to independents, and we have some great conversations. And what they tell me, they're like, oh my, I love the dialogue. I'm a very good listener. As a mom, a lot of times we're balancing a lot of different things. And one of the things that you learn very quickly, especially when you get teenagers, is you got to be able to listen to their point of view. They growing up in a very different generation than I grew up, but we got to learn to listen. I've worked with different sides of the aisle, in my role being nonpartisan now as an elected township trustee. I've worked with different groups, and I get along with people well. I listen well. I communicate well. There are just so many factors that differentiate me from the competition.
Where can our listeners find out more about your campaign? What's your website? And if you can spell it for everyone, what's your social media handles, etc.? Take it away.
All right. Thank you. So my website is Tosi, which is TOSI, S like Sally, FOR, REP.com. And that's the same for if you go on Facebook, you type in Tosi Ufodike for state rep, it'll come up. TOSI, last name U, like uncle, F like Frank, ODIKE. It'll come up on Facebook, on X, it's Mrs. Ufodike, and on Instagram, again, if you type in Tosi, TOSI. Yes, and if you go to our website, Tosi for FOR Rep, at the bottom you can click and it'll take you to our Facebook page, our X page, and as well as if you want to get involved and join our Team Tosi, we would love to have you. You can click Get Involved, and once you fill out that information, we will reach out to you. We're always looking for great volunteers that want to help spread our grassroots message, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate your time.
Is there a question I didn't even ask you that I should have? Take it away.
Thank you again for allowing me to, come on your show. And this was great. The conversation was amazing. One of the things that I just want to let the listeners know is when you're in office, you have a voting record. There's been when I'm talking to my voters, a lot of people are concerned just about, the immigration, non-citizens being able to vote, non-citizens getting driver's licenses. Opponent voted for all these things and supports these things. Also, my stance with Israel, I stand with Israel and their right to self-defend. I'm against any wars. Nobody likes wars. We always pray for peace. But, they do have the right to self-defend. And taxes, I really believe that I am going to fight for this community to lower property taxes and give some inflation relief. It's tough. I will fight for structural property tax reforms. And I also believe that every resident in our community, in our district, District 51, has a voice. And I would love to listen and talk and continue to have the dialogue of what's important to them. And I would definitely represent everybody in our community if given the chance. And I just encourage everybody not to sit this election out. There's just so much at stake. Vote in this election. Tell a friend. Voting is your right as a U.S. citizen to vote and make your voice heard. I've been fighting for voting and encouraging people to vote since I graduated high school. People died for me to vote. I don't take it for granted. And it breaks my heart when I talk to some people and they're like, we're not registered to vote. I got 4 people to register to vote just by knocking doors. I'm like, you guys know, vote. Voting is so important. Don't take it for granted. Please, we have so many options. You can vote early. You can vote by mail. You can do it online. It's just been made so easy that there's no reason why you should not vote. So I want to definitely encourage everybody to vote. And finally, I just want to talk to my small businesses. As a small business owner, you're dealing with so many costs, and it can hit you with the different things, the taxes, your employees, everything. I'm very pro-business. Small businesses are the heartbeat of America, and we got to support our small business owners. And we have to make sure that their small businesses are supported. My opponent passed the prevailing wage bill, and all these things are a slap in the face of small businesses. So again, please vote, check us out, and we would love to hear from you.
Tosi, thank you very much for taking the time to be on the show and speak to our listeners.
The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.